Sebastian from the Metal Gods Meltdown, and today I am joined by
Cody Perez from American Overdose.
It's great to be chatting to you today. I've had artificial infection actually 2 days, and I've been listening to it non-stop, man. It's brilliant. I love it. It's only been just released yesterday, wasn't it? How's responses been so far?
It was released yesterday. What we did was for the people that pre-ordered it, we kind of like surprised them because I started sending their physical copies out by mail last week so that they would get it early and get to be able to hear it earlier than most people. And then about 3 days ago or so, I sent out the email blast with the digital version in case they didn't receive it, because we had a lot of people buy it from like Japan and UK and different parts of the world. So I wasn't sure if it was going to still just get received by, in time. So I'm like, I'm just going to send out the digital versions and I want to start hearing what people have to say. So we surprised them by letting them get the album ahead of time. And so the response has been awesome, man. Like it makes all the hard work and everything that we put into it worth it for sure.
Since COVID, the world's gone to hell. And I feel a lot of what's going on is the inspiration behind this on your third album. Is that a fair comment?
It is 100% true. So most of the album, pretty much all of it was written right as COVID was happening. Mm-hmm. I had a lot of personal things that were going on in my life prior to that I also kind of tied into it, but all of the music and all that was written during COVID, and a majority of the lyrics, pretty much all the lyrics were. The way we try to write is we try to provoke thought and we try to like get people to question things. We don't necessarily choose a side or tell you to choose a side on what you believe and what you don't believe and what you're into and what you're, whatever. But what we like to do is put it out there and have people think at least for themselves and encourage that.
Yeah, it's good to have some thinking metal occasionally, isn't it? Yeah, I mean, my favorite track on the album is Damaged at the moment. Which would you say is your favorite track on the album today, and why?
Today, because it does change every day. So right now, I really like the album title track, Artificial Infection. And I think the reason why I like that one is because it has a lot of energy. It's probably our heaviest track we've ever done, but it's also got a really hooky, melodic chorus to it. And I think it ties all of the themes that we talk about in the album into one song. So it's got the personal stuff, it's got the thought-provoking, it's got a little bit of everything, but it takes our heaviness and really turns it up. Like I said, it's probably the heaviest track that we've done yet so far. So that's why it's my favorite one right now. But I'm pretty sure if you ask me like 5 hours from now, it's going to be a different song.
It's actually funny enough. That's the thing I was going to ask you next about the story behind Artificial Infection.
So on Artificial Infection, the title track, the story behind that, what influenced that is how everyone on the internet basically, they want to be victims of something. They want to get attention. They want to, they just want that attention. So I feel like society has made it where, if you're a victim of XYZ, something that most people go through in their everyday and they don't think about, and they just kind of just move on and they, oh, whatever, this person said this or that about me. Fuck them. I don't care. So basically, like what I'm getting at is that everyone wants to be a victim of something because it gets you attention. There's a platform where you can just put it out there. So if I go to a grocery store and somebody, cuts me in line or elbow checks me by accident or whatever, and I make a big scandal about it, then I go online, I rant about it. I'm doing that as a cry for attention. I want people to sympathize, empathize, whatever. So it was tied to a lot of that, seeing that online where people were just taking little things and just trying to be victims for the cry of attention. And it's like, that shit gets really old. I don't have sympathy or empathy for anything like that. No, obviously there's bad things out there, that, you're a victim for, but I feel like a lot of it is just little petty shit that people are just looking for attention because it makes them feel heard or whatever. And it's like, that's not the reason why you should be doing this. And I think seeing a lot of that is what inspired me for the lyrics on that song.
What's the story then behind the track number 12? Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yes, the Spanish track. So for the longest time, American Overdose. So I'm Mexican, and so is my brother, the other vocalist.
Right.
And for the longest time, we've been wanting to do a Spanish influenced track along with, Latin influenced with Spanish lyrics track. And we just never got to it. I've always been wanting to do it just because that's where my roots are. My dad was from Mexico, and my family's Mexican and what have you. Always wanted to do something in Spanish for my dad and my grandma and my family. And so this time around, I was like, you know what, we have enough time. Let's go ahead and put some focus into getting a track out and finally releasing it, and doing something like that. As far as the lyrics go, that was influenced because I knew we were going to put this towards the end of the album, this song, because it went on later tracks. And the album starts out dark. It starts off in a very dark side, and as it progresses, it gets darker and darker. And then towards the end, it starts getting more, towards I guess the last two tracks are more positive, and into a lighter side and giving kind of hope. Listener. So that song is a positive song. It's a very positive as far as like it's basically talking about living life to the fullest on your own terms. And it's the part of the chorus is basically saying, life's gonna have its ups and downs. You're gonna go forward, and then it's gonna set you back. But what muévete means in Spanish is move it, like keep moving. Yeah. So it's a positive song. It was inspired by just all the crazy stuff that I've experienced the last 6, 7, 8 years of my life. I've had a lot of personal things, demons that have haunted me, that I've been tested, and I wanted to write something about to give hope for people that are going through crazy stuff in their own life. That life will have its ups and downs. You're gonna have your setbacks. You're gonna have your triumphs and tribulations, and I'm a firm believer that no matter how bad it gets, it will always get better, and life will go on. And so you just gotta keep pushing forward. And so I wanted to have a positive message in that. And I think we haven't promoted it yet, but I think it's going to be a big hit when we start promoting it in South America and Mexico and Spain, all the Spanish countries, because I not only do we have catchy lyrics and catchy music and whatnot, but I think that just the message itself is going to be something that's going to be what, for people that understand the lyrics, they're going to relate to it, and they're going to hopefully use that as inspiration. So our drummer Brick wrote the song. He wrote the guitars for it and the drums, and worked with our producer. When they put it together, I was like, okay, this is definitely something I can vibe with. And the lyrics just spilled out of me. It was crazy how quickly I was able to write to it. Within 3 or 4 days, I already had like my melodies, I had the lyrics and inspiration for it. So
it is a killer track. That's what I was going to ask you, actually, if you were going to do that, like release it in Latin America and stuff like that.
We're going to do a music video for it as well. I want to do like a performance type of video, so that way they get the whole image of us and everything with it, because I know that they love wrestling over there, and a lot of people relate American Overdose to like WWE and AEW and that kind of stuff for wrestling because of the masks and everything. So I think that a performance video will be appropriate for this one.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. Okay, then. So that's going to be a single. Are you thinking of releasing anything else as well as a video single, or?
Yep. So we have a bunch of songs that we released from this album as videos. The last one was Toxic. That's the most recent one, about 3 weeks ago. So the next one we're planning to do, hopefully, will be Artificial Infection, the title track of the album. And I have some really awesome ideas for that. And I won't say them now because I don't want to just give it. But I have some really killer ideas that I want to bring to life for that video. And I'm hoping for, sometime to film it sometime in August. And maybe we'll release it by September-ish or October at the latest.
Brilliant. Yeah, I've just been watching the Toxic video. It's really good. And I've been with a narcissist, and that sort of reminded me a bit of that. And I think a lot of people are triggered by that video. I was looking on the comments, and it was yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I was going to say a lot of people can relate to that one, myself included. With toxic behaviors, both being on the receiving side and the giving
Yeah,
side. So I think that one touched a lot of people once they saw the video for it. And
absolutely.
the message came across. The guy that shot the video for us, that's been doing our videos, Packer, does a great job of storytelling when we give him ideas of what we want,
Right.
and so it was well done. I feel like it's personally our best video we've done yet.
Brilliant. Yeah, it is really good, man. I love it.
Thank you.
Okay, going to the album then. The album cover, that's pretty cool. Do you have plans to have that framed at home?
I don't have a frame. No, that would be cool to do
You
though.
should.
I'd love to do that. Um, I should do that because, like I said, this album was, we put a lot of work into this. It's been years in the making, and a lot of people were asking us previously, like, why did it take so long? You know, the last album was put out in 2016. We started working on new music in 2017, and a lot of it was personal things that were going on on all of our lives. We had a lot of life-changing things happening. I won't go into details about the other band members, but me personally, I was dealing with a lot of personal issues with relationships and addictions and that kind of stuff. And then while we were recording some of the music that we were doing previously, we wrote about like 40, 50 songs, not complete tracks, but we wrote good portions and chunks of it. And when I was sitting down to listen to the songs and to write to them, not that the songs were not good, because they were great songs, they just didn't have the tone that I wanted to put out for this album and the things that I was going for. So we basically had to start from scratch all over again, with the exception of Damage. Damage was from that original pile of songs that we did. So in 2020, 2021 or so, that's when we started working. We basically scrapped everything and said, let's start over and start from scratch. And so it was a lot of work, and a lot of people asking us basically, when is it going to be out? When's it going to be out? I'm like, I want to give you guys something good. I don't want to give you guys something that's half-assed or something I'm not feeling or something that feels forced. So it was I'm very proud of this one. It came out exactly like I envisioned it, and then even more some. So very, very proud of the work that we were able to put out on this.
Honestly, mate, I love it. I mean, I get sent albums every day, and as you can imagine nowadays, it's constant. And I've been listening to your album more than anything the last 2 days, and it will be going on my phone. And I'll be listening to it when I have to go to work. Like, I have to travel like half an hour to an hour on the bus because I've not got a car anymore. So it's like, yeah, we're listening to that. It's fucking brilliant. Right. So what about plans for festival and tours?
Thank you so much.
Do you have, what about plans for festivals and tours? And are there hopes to even get over to Europe at some stage? I mean, is that a plan?
We would love to come out to Europe. Believe me, that's like the number. That's like on my Europe and Australia are on my top list of what we have to get to at some point. Nothing planned yet, but I won't speak too soon because you never know. Things just seem to happen sometimes with us. As far as what we have set in stone right now, we're about to leave on a little mini tour that we're doing for 2 weeks tomorrow. Starts tomorrow. We're going to be heading up towards the Midwest. We're playing a festival in Cadott, Wisconsin called Rockfest.
Right.
And it's a 3-day festival, basically. Shinedown's playing it, Seven Dust, Killswitch Engage, Jelly Roll, Chevelle, just a bunch of bands are playing.
Yeah.
And so we get to play it next Friday, the 19th of July. And along the way, we're going to be playing some shows on the way there. And then after we get done playing, we're going to hang around for another day. And then we're going to head back home, but we're going to play some shows along the way home too. So we're hitting up a number of states on this run. And then when we get back, we're going to start working on our EP for next year. So hopefully have new music for next year. I'm actually working right now currently on another cover that we're doing. I won't say what song yet, but I can give you a hint. It's a 90s pop song that was done towards the 90s. So we're going to do an American Overdose version of it. And we'll hope that out sometime this year. But we're also going to be working on a 5-song EP and hopefully have something out again next year, sometime in the spring or the summer.
Brilliant. As long as it's not You Spin Me Round Like a Record Baby. I've heard a metal version of that today and it's not good.
This one I haven't heard people do, honestly. I've seen a couple of things done on it, but not really anything huge. It's a huge song and I don't know why they haven't. But in my head, I hear it and I'm like, this song is a dark song. It's a pop song, but it's a very dark song. The lyrics are dark and seductive. So I'm like, I know we can do this song justice.
Yeah.
And the producer, when I was working with him on it, is I don't want this to be a pop versus punk type of deal where all we're going to do is add heavy guitars and a bunch of double pedal and a bunch of screaming. I don't want to do that. So we want to do something where we make the song our own and it stands out, but people are still able to recognize it.
Brilliant. Sorry, my cat was being a twat. She was up there knocking things off like. Right. All right, man. So that sounds amazing. So talking about touring then, who would be like your dream ultimate band to go on a tour with? I think you should come to the UK and tour with these guys called Anticone. Right. But anyway.
Dude, I've heard a lot about them. A lot of people have been telling us about. I was going to mention that. So a lot of people have mentioned them to us and said that they hear similarities and that we should tour with them. And that would be awesome. I did check out some of their tracks and they got some killer tracks. They would be great to tour with. I would love to tour with Rammstein, of course, Slipknot and Mudvayne.
Yeah.
Someday with Marilyn Manson, potentially. Static X, just bands that are similar to our style. I'd love to just go on tour with them, learn as much as I can from them as musicians, and you know, introduce our music to their audience, because I feel like our audiences are very similar, you know, and I think that it would go really great. So that would be a dream tour. Maybe if I was going to say, you know, 4 bands that we'd go on tour with, it'd be Slipknot, Rammstein, Mudvayne, and maybe Rob Zombie.
Yeah, that'd be good. That'd be interesting, wouldn't it? That really would. All right. So talking about touring then, what would you say has been the weirdest venue you've ever played? Like the strangest?
Weirdest venue. Let me see. Well, we played a world famous venue called Harpos in Detroit, Michigan in 2015. And that was strange for a number of reasons. Before we got there, everyone was warning us. They're like, dude, this is in a really bad part. Detroit's already like known for, it was a murder capital of,
even we know that here.
And so people were already warning us. They're like, it's in a really bad part of town. When you get there, expect this. There's going to be security waiting for you guys outside the doors. They're going to escort you literally from your van to the venue. Anytime you go in and out of the venue, there's going to be security there escorting you. There's a liquor store right across the street, like in the same parkway that they have like a lot of bums and crime activity that goes on there. They said if you happen to walk out, and like they don't recommend it, but if you happen to walk out and if you go towards the KFC, which is about a block away, and you go any further than that, they're like, you could probably get robbed, raped, killed, kidnapped, whatever. So they said, do not do that. I always knew about Harpos because I watched a lot of YouTube videos, so I saw a lot of my favorite bands like Pantera, Slipknot, and whatnot performing on, you know, the stage, and so when I was there, I was just like, wow, this is Harpos. Walking in there was crazy because the smell, they you know, it smells like it's molding, and it's like it just felt like grimy and wet and moist and all that stuff. When you go towards the front of the venue, the bathrooms are like they're like the floors are all kind of like wet, and it's because I guess the plumbing system's all jacked up, and they have like water that constantly raises and overflows from the toilets. So their bathroom setup is really nasty. The stage is like really high, so when the crowd's watching you, they got their heads up like this watching you, and you're looking down at the crowd. You're like literally looking down at them. So it's a really high stage. Though that's a venue that for sure stands out. And then when we left, the security was all telling us, they said, when you get out of here, drive as far out as you can, go 25, 50 miles, and do not stop for anybody, because there will be people that stop with guns and whatnot in the middle of the freeway just to rob you or steal your stuff. And they're like, it's happened. So do not stop for anybody. Just keep driving. If anyone's in the middle of the road, just get around them or whatever, and just keep going, because what they're doing is they're trying to rob you. That was probably the venue that stands out the most to me.
That sounds absolutely insane, honestly, man.
Yeah.
All right. So next one, I don't know if you can get offended with this one or not. So the dude with the American hat, he looks a little bit like Eddie from Iron Maiden.
Yeah, that's funny you mentioned that. I've never heard anyone compare, but basically we wanted an Uncle Sam looking guy, but we wanted him to look dead and just like corrupted and all the nastiness that you think of when you think of a politician, regardless of it's a Democrat or Republican. We basically wanted a representative that just looked like what he is on the inside, or inside on the outside. So ugly, disgusting, a monster, just corrupt. And we changed his name from Uncle Sam to Uncle Scam.
Okay.
And he's our mascot.
Yeah.
He's our mascot that we use, to promote the band. And if you look into the band, you'll see that we have a lot of humor. So we don't try to be dark. We don't try to be like something that we're not like. I know a lot of bands, like they try to take themselves too seriously. We don't do that. We're not, we don't try to hide our faces. Obviously I'm doing an interview right now without my mask.
Yeah.
We like to have a lot of fun. We grew up on the generation of Beavis and Butthead, Wayne's World, South Park, Jackass, all that kind of stuff. So we have a really immature and non-PC friendly sense of humor. So we try to put out videos of that. We did a couple of skits. If you look up on our YouTube, we have a recent one that we just put out a couple of weeks ago where our manager, Ronald Rufy, came to visit us after reviewing the album, was very disappointed. He starts yelling at us. And I won't ruin the video for you, but if you haven't looked it up, look at our Ronald Rufy return skit. And then there's a previous one from years ago that we did. And basically, it's just us making fun of ourselves, all the things that we hear the people, the haters, talk about us, comparing us to Slipknot or Mudvayne or whatever they compare us to. We don't take ourselves that serious, so we like to poke fun at things. The Uncle Scam was one of those things where we're like, and I have an idea of what we're going to do next for the next couple of mascots that we're wanting to use along. So we're going to add more characters to this whole American theme thing, and continue going on.
It sounds good, man. That sounds good. Yeah, it's good to not be politically correct. I can't stand it. I can't stand wokeness or political correctness. It drives me mad. Anyway,
we don't preach any politics. People always ask, like, what side are you guys on? And I always tell them, I'm like, that's not my job. It's not our job to tell you what or what not to believe. But what I like to do is I like to thought provoke, and I like to get people thinking.
Exactly. You're there to entertain. All right, Em. So if there was like a heavy metal song about yourself, like a made up heavy metal song, what would it be called?
What would it be called? Huh. I've never been asked that. That's a good question. I'm just going to throw it out there. My Beautiful Self-Destruction.
It's a good one. Yeah. Okay. I love it. All right. So then how would you describe the album in 4 words?
4 words I can use?
Yeah.
Let's see. I would say it's personal. It's dark, enticing, and it is energetic.
Excellent, man. Okay, so nearly at the end now. Which 4 musicians would be on your own Mount Rushmore of music?
So, like, I'm picking a singer, a drummer, a guitarist, and a bass player.
Well, whatever you want to pick, like 4 vocalists, whatever, like your 4 idols to be on Mount Rushmore.
That is a good question. Well, I would have to say Ozzy Osbourne's going to definitely be one of them because that guy is, the rock and metal god of all. Man, this is a tough one. Because I like his personality, the way that he was on video and everything, and I like his energy that he had. I would say Dimebag Darrell. Philip Anselmo. He, as a frontman, he is, especially in the 90s, there was no one that could top him.
No.
And I would say Marilyn Manson, honestly, if I had to, because Marilyn Manson really was just thought-provoking, shocking, wasn't afraid to be himself, wasn't afraid to question things, very well-spoken. That would be my 4, I think.
Cool, mate. Right, running down on time. But do you know Marilyn Manson? I was in the photo pit in Belgium, Alcatraz Festival, and he kicked us out of the fucking photo pit because he wanted only 10 people in the photo pit. and I was the 11th. He kicked us out.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't like him.
Yeah, well, I know. I have friends that are photographers that do not like him, and people that do press, and they're like, "He's a dick. He's an asshole."
Yeah,
I believe
absolutely.
it. I've seen him hit people's cameras and whatnot when he's on stage, and he's not someone that a lot of people like. From what I've heard that have met him, they always say he's a dick. So,
all right, man. I got 50 seconds. So, again, I want to congratulate on the awesome album. It's probably one of, if not my album of the year. We will, honestly. Do you have any final words for your fans?
thank you.
Your fans, our viewers, and listeners.
Thank you all so much for support us. Welcome to any of you guys that are new to American Overdose. Check us out. Give a couple of the tracks a listen, because there's likely something there for everybody. Not all of our songs are the same. We kind of, we're not you hear one song and that's like what all of them sound like, but we do have our own sound. So for our fans that are loyal followers, we fucking love you guys, and thank you guys very much. For our new friends,
oh, you pretty little thing. I just want to ruin your life.
Let me hear you scream, yeah! Together forever, let's write a disaster. Sell it like a love story. Baby, make it hurt, don't you ever bore me. Don't you know that you are a part